Let's talk about your clothes. You know, that t-shirt you work out in, the uniform someone wears to their job, even the pajamas you sleep in. What if they were more than just fabric? Seriously, what if they were an active system, constantly working for you? Well, that's not science fiction. It's a technological revolution that's happening right now, in our closets. And this isn't some tiny niche market we're talking about. The world of what we call functional apparel is projected to hit a staggering $510 billion by 2030. That is a massive, fast-growing industry that's about to change pretty much everything. So, what in the world is driving this $500 billion market? If you're thinking it's all just high-tech running shoes and fancy yoga pants, well, you're only seeing the very, very tip of the iceberg. This category is incredibly broad. I mean, of course, it includes sportswear and that whole athleisure trend. But think bigger. Think about life-saving protective gear for firefighters, or medical gowns that can actually monitor a patient's vitals. But the real game changer here, the one we're going to focus on, is that last point, truly smart clothing. We're talking garments with tech literally woven in that can sense, react, and even communicate.
Okay, this all sounds pretty incredible, right? So, what's the holdup? Why aren't we all walking around in super suits already? Well, it turns out that creating clothing that's truly functional and not just a gimmick is an incredibly complex challenge.
At the heart of it all is this classic dilemma that designers have been wrestling with for decades, a fundamental trade-off. The gear that gives you the absolute best protection, think firefighter suits or heavy-duty industrial wear, is almost always heavy, stiff, and you can barely breathe in it. And on the flip side, the most comfortable stuff is usually the least protective. It's a huge problem because if the gear is too uncomfortable, people just won't wear it correctly, which completely defeats the whole purpose.
But the problem actually goes a lot deeper than that. For one, mass production creates clothing for some average body that, let's be honest, doesn't really exist. This totally fails people with different body types, and especially people with disabilities. Then you've got the sustainability issue. We all want eco-friendly stuff, but those materials often just can't match the performance of traditional synthetics. And of course, there's the cost. All these incredible features are kind of pointless if nobody can afford them.
You know, in the world of design, there's actually a term for this kind of challenge. It's called a wicked problem. It's a situation where every time you try to solve one part of the problem, you accidentally create a new one somewhere else. You improve protection, you lose comfort. You pick a sustainable fabric, you might lose durability. It's this super complex web of competing demands. So how on earth do you solve a wicked problem? Well, the answer isn't some single magical breakthrough. It's a whole new way of thinking, a framework that connects three powerful technologies that until now have pretty much been living in their own separate worlds. See, historically, these three fields have been on totally separate tracks. You had brilliant engineers working on smart textiles and sensors over here, you had AI experts working on algorithms over there, and then you had material scientists developing amazing eco-friendly fabrics in a completely different building. They were all innovating in their own silos, and they almost never talked to each other from the very start of a project. And that right there, that's the gap. So the solution is to create an integrated framework that basically forces these pillars to work together from day one. It starts with smart textiles to monitor things like health and performance. Then you use AI to analyze that data and create a perfectly fitting pattern that also massively reduces material waste. And the whole thing is built from high-performance, sustainable fabrics chosen specifically for the task. They're not separate goals anymore. They're all part of one single interconnected system. And this is why that integrated approach is so absolutely critical. Just look at the materials. There is no single best option here. Bamboo viscose, for example, is excellent at wicking moisture away, but it's not very durable. Recycled polyester, on the other hand, is super tough, but it doesn't breathe well at all. An AI-assisted framework can look at all these trade-offs and help designers pick or even blend the perfect materials for a very specific person and their specific needs. This is where it gets really, really exciting, because this framework isn't just a theory on a whiteboard. It's about solving real-world problems for real people. Let's actually see what that looks like in practice. Okay, check this out. For a marathon runner who needs to avoid overheating, the system might design a shirt made from recycled polyester that's treated with special materials to absorb and release heat. Then, an AI designs a totally seamless pattern with ventilation in all the right places. Or, for a post-surgical patient, it could be a super soft cotton gown with sensors woven right into the fabric to monitor their vitals, no wires needed. And for a wheelchair user, maybe it's stretchable bamboo blend pants with a pattern custom generated by AI for a seated posture, designed to eliminate painful pressure points. You see? In every single case, the technology is serving a very specific human need. So what's the big picture here? When you zoom out, the real-world impact of this new design philosophy is a fundamental change in what we should all expect from our clothes. This approach is going to transform entire industries. In healthcare, patients can be monitored from the comfort of their own home. In industrial safety, work gear will actively monitor a worker's vitals to prevent accidents before they can happen. In fashion, it's going to deliver both style and true independence. Our clothes are becoming proactive partners in our health and our well-being. So we are moving from a world where we just choose clothes off a rack to a world where our clothes are chosen, designed, and adapted specifically for us, sometimes even in real time. So the final question I'll leave you with is this. What if your shirt could start cooling you down before you even consciously felt hot? Or what if your jacket could sense you were in distress and automatically alert a loved one? That's not a dream. That is the future that's being woven today.